Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are a couple of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called We Lead, Building Connection, Community, and Collaboration for Women in Business. And this is volume 3 from lead author AliceAnne Loftus. I've got a little shout out to her before I introduce you to our authors today. AliceAnne, we would not be here without you. Your vision and mission for the book and the whole book series was huge. And I'm so grateful to be partnering you with this particular topic. I've said this in every interview. Like, ladies, wouldn't you have loved a book like this when you were just starting your business, with all the tools and the stories and just this massive resource, right? So I love it. And you gals have some really cool things to share with us today. So I have Davina Cloney here, founder and lead designer of Davina Lourdes Interior Design, established 11 years ago. She specializes in residential builds, renovations, kitchens, baths, full furnishings, and boutique commercial spaces. And Sophia Hardesty is here. She's the owner and operator of Naptown Sings and Plays, providing modern music education to students in Annapolis, Maryland for over 12 years. Y'all have been in your businesses a minute, ladies, right? We have some really great things to talk about today. Davina, you're going to start us off with a little bit of your why. Tell us the why behind the chapter that you wrote.
Sure. Well, the chapter I wrote is actually chapter 10 in the book, and it's called Love Where You Live and Work, Designing Spaces with Heart and Purpose. And I came to design many years ago as a second career. And my why is centered around how I'm connected to my home as everyone else is to theirs. We are so inextricably tied to our homes, and whether or not we're aware, we want to feel connected to those surroundings. So it's our place of sanctuary. I've lived through, with my previous home, I lived through 20 plus years of renovation and construction and all of the stress associated with that. I believe this really impacted my quality of life. And when I was also realizing that my career path that I was on was not really fulfilling what I wanted and needed in my life, I started exploring other professions. And I came across interior design because I was working in my own home quite a bit and decided to go back to school. I just found my passion. I really love what I do. I volunteered a lot, and so I loved helping people. And I felt like I needed that change, and it was just a way that I could help people and do something that I love. So
it's funny. I was having a conversation with a realtor friend just this morning, actually, and we talked about how the way homes are sold and how it has to go to the, all the personal stuff has to go away, and then have to stage it so that, right. And she was kind of talking about the fact that that all needs to go away, and that we need to get back to the personal story of the home, the special pieces of it, right? And I know you get that. Like, what else do you want to tell people about that environment and what they can do, like what's possible there?
Oh, so much is possible. When I work with clients, I try and help them not just define a style or something so generic like that. I really try and help them determine the feeling they want in their home. You know, how it's their sanctuary, it's the place they want to spend the most time. And how do they want to feel when they're in that space? Because they really want to feel connected. And there's different ways to accomplish that. And some people maybe want it to be a more softer, relaxing, calming environment. And some people love to entertain and they want it to be vibrant and speak to their personality. So there's a lot of different feelings associated with our homes, and that's sort of my focal point when I first meet with clients, is determining what theirs is, and then we go through this process to figure out exactly what it is they want that they might not even realize they want. And ultimately, the space is highly personalized, and they can then come back and say, this is me. This is the me I didn't even know that I had inside. And people are very excited, and the expectations are generally a lot different than they had coming into the project.
It's such a great feeling. And I will,
Mhm.
and especially now with many, many of us working from home, I'll tell you that this topic can change your business also. So
Mm.
like I'm sitting in my home office that I painted yellow, like, and I wanted it to be something that made me feel that connection. And so I love this topic so much, Davina. It's like, oh, we could talk about this one for 3 hours today. And so I appreciate, you saying yes to this project, and thanks for sharing today. We're gonna hear a little bit more in a minute or two.
And thank you for spearheading it.
Of
I'm
course, my
delighted
pleasure.
to be part of it.
So Sophia, tell us your why. What was the why behind your chapter?
So, my chapter is chapter 24, Chronically Creative, Finding Inspiration When There Are No Spoons Left. About 3 years ago, I started my journey being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and it flipped my whole world upside down, but the symptoms were there before then. I couldn't figure out why I was so tired, why, um, I didn't, uh-oh, did this just disconnect? No, okay,
No,
good.
you're with us. You're with us.
Why I was so tired, why I didn't feel good all the time, why I couldn't recover from different things. And the process really it put a different perspective um for me on how to live my life. I've always been a big go-getter. I've always been a work, work hard, play hard type person. And when you have a chronic illness, you absolutely can't do that or you crash and burn. So I wrote this chapter. It's been a very lonely process the past 3 years. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, they talk about these chronic illnesses that they have, and you really don't know what somebody's going through unless you've gone through it yourself. So I was talking with my brother as I was writing the project, and I said, I just want people to know what my day to day is like. I want people to know how hard it is to get out of bed some days. I want like people to know how hard not only the physical load is, but the mental load is. I want people to see what it's like to be in my shoes just for a little bit because it's not easy. And when you're sick and you look glowing on the outside and you still have hair, even like your hair is not falling out, and you go about your day to day, people don't know what's actually going on in the inside and like how much effort it takes just to make it through a day. And
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah, I wanted to share that with
the
people.
education is so important. These sort of invisible kind of diagnoses where we look pretty good on the outside. But you were making me think as I was listening to you talk about that, it really just comes back down to kindness, people. Like
Mhm.
you just don't know what people are going through. Be kind, right? How do we know? We don't know a lot of the time. What else is important for people to understand about that?
Well, that's actually how I ended my chapter. I said, be kind to the people with chronic illnesses. You don't actually know what they're going through, but be kind to everybody because everybody is fighting a silent battle. And it doesn't hurt to just be nice. Like, you don't know why somebody is late every single day. You don't know that it took them like 2 hours to get out of bed. You don't know what type of news somebody got right before they got on the phone with you. And you're right, kindness goes a long way.
That's a really great example as well. Like, the conversation that person just had, you don't know what that was for them, right?
Mm.
All the little things. Before we were getting on for the interview, you and I were joking a little bit that life was lifing today, and it's a Monday and life is lifing. And yeah, I mean, it's lifing for everyone in some aspect.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that you're talking about that today. So I'm going to change gears a little bit and I'm going to stick with you, Sophia, for this next question. What does it mean to you to be an authentic leader?
Well, I'm kind of an open book um, in my life and on social media. Um, so I practice what I preach, but I also preach what I preach. Um, if you go on my website, it's very much an open and welcoming place. It is part of our mission to be accepting of all people that walk through our doors. Um, and you know, the beliefs that I have go directly into my business of teaching music and making people love music. And music has always been a place of healing and acceptance. So we expect that vibe with every single person we hire in our studio. And so the same thing goes with how I present myself to other people and on social media. If I have a bad day, you're going to know about it. If I am having only a few spoons left, you're probably going to know about it on social media. You'll see a little picture of me laying saying, saving my spoons. I actually posted that literally on Friday. I was like, oh, I only have like a couple spoons left. Um, I think it's important to know, like, I think it's important for the world to know, especially in a world of social media, that we're all struggling. It goes back to that thing where we all have great days. We all have these beautiful things that we're going with or going through. And sometimes social media only wants you to see that. And the people who are struggling might be thinking, hey, what about me? What about like, where are these people's hard times? So I try to keep it as real as possible in everything that I do. I mean, even to my staff, it's like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm getting by today. I'm lifing. I'm not gonna say I'm great if I'm not great, because that just gives this like false idea that if you're a leader, you you have to be perfect and perfectly dressed and really great and like happy and I don't know, full of knowledge all the time, and it's just not always the case.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so Davina, I'm going to come to you now with this same question. So, what do you want to add to that? For you, what does it mean to be an authentic leader?
Basically, it's how I show up in my business, and I love people. I love learning about them and trying to figure out um, what's going to make them happy. And it's um, it's just me being me, and I try to lead with authenticity, and I know that's different for everybody. And it's probably a word that's overused, but I don't put on airs. I just, I'm quirky. I like to laugh and have fun, and I can be very professional and assertive when I need to be. And um, my main thing is just, when I work with people, I lead with kindness and integrity, and I just like when everybody is respectful to one another on a project. It doesn't matter to me if it's an architect or a builder or a tradesperson or a cleaning person that shows up. It's like we're all human and we should just show each other, kindness and respect.
I like these answers to this. This is, one of the missions for the collaborations is to have all the answers, like all the unique ways to talk about leadership, right? We lead. This is such a powerful collection of people and practices, and I have some gratitude to both of you today. I'm going to give everyone a little peek at the cover while I'm giving you that gratitude. But these authors stepped up with their real stories, you guys, right? Vulnerable stories. And then in the second part of these chapters, you're going to have their master teachings in the practice section. This book is such a gift. quick shout out, Jennifer Osterhaus, beautiful cover design. Thank you for that. In this beautiful book in volume 3. So yeah, you guys did a brilliant job and took on my challenge just really, really in an amazing way. So I want to dive into your practice sections here just a little bit. Davina, what do you think is the most important thing you want us to know about loving where you live and work?
I guess, having come to design from a background of, being on a pretty tight budget, and now I do a lot of projects that are, really high end, and the investment is a lot different than when I was doing my own home. Um, I would want people to know that anyone can achieve a beautiful design in a home. You don't have to be wealthy. It's something I, as a DIYer, did, and now I do for people, to remove that stress from their lives. But it's definitely something that's achievable, and there's lots of different ways to do it. And like I said earlier, my approach is basically trying to find that feeling that you're looking for in your home. And once you find that feeling and you start designing around it, implementing it is fun. It can be a quick process, which quick under the design umbrella is could be 6 months. But it can take years to design a home that you love. And that's okay. I've been in my house 11 years and I'm still working on it. And that's part of curating a space that's uniquely yours. It's just taking the time to, infuse all of things that give you that feeling that you're looking for. And the same holds true in the workspace. I did my design studio last year. We moved in this year. And I was working in a really small home office before for many years. And it's hard. It's hard to have that sense of openness and freedom and comfort when you're working in a space that's very restricted. And so when you invest in an office space, whether it be a small space or a large office, or a commercial space, it changes your life. It has for mine already. I knew it would, and it's just makes what I love even more joyful. So yeah.
It is an amazing, fun process. One of my favorite topics ever really is just curating. I love that you use that word today. Curating the space for the feel that is your soul feel, right? Like the feeling that you want to feel every day. I mean, it's a game changer.
It is.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so Sophia, let's hear your golden nugget too. So what's the thing you want us to know, the most important thing about finding inspiration when there are no spoons left?
So I'm going to take a quote right before I made my practice very short for this one. I also wrote for volume 2 where the practice was extensive. But this is a quote right before I went into the practice section of the book. I said, "Chronic illnesses don't go away. We change our lives to fit them, and we do this with grace and peace because the only other option is to fall back into illness." And I will tell you this, about a month after I wrote my chapter, I did fall back into illness, and it's taken me about 10 weeks to come to the place where I am today by taking my own advice. And the biggest one is this, is that stress can't rule your life. Um, Stress is the biggest thing that flares me up. And so I've had to constantly find ways to reinvent myself to make sure that stress isn't the number one thing in my life, even to this day. You have to sleep. You have to take days to rest, or else you can't or sorry, excuse me, you can't fuel the days where you need to be productive. And you harness your creativity in spurts. So that was one of the main things that I wanted to talk about when I wrote this chapter. I am a creative business owner. My brain never turns off for my creativity, but I have to find ways to harness it now that I don't have the energy to act on every creative thing that comes into my brain. And I feel like some of my greatest ideas have come maybe during my exhaustive spells, or during my recovery or right after. um but it doesn't mean I have to act on them right away. I can take the time to decide whether to act on it or not, especially as a person who just has idea after idea after idea nonstop in my brain. um or I can say, hey, not today, but maybe next month when I'm feeling better. And and that's how it's been working for me. We're implementing this really awesome event on Friday that came into my brain a few weeks ago in the depths of sickness. And it's fine now. I have staff that helped me execute it, and it's going to be amazing on Friday. And then my last piece of advice is to love what you do and do it with love. Um, Being sick and not being able to do things makes me love the times that I am able to implement my creativity, and that I am able bodied, and not just physically but mentally, enough to be able to move forward with the wild ideas I have in my head. It makes me appreciate the work that I've done a little bit more, because I'm doing it not at the capacity that I used to. Does that make sense?
Does very much so.
Yeah.
And what a lovely way to live in that awareness.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sometimes my brain and my body can get carried away, but I'm still able to be productive. But I'm also able to recognize how important it is to turn it off and rest.
Yeah.
And recover.
That's amazing advice for everybody listening. If you're a business owner and you're also got that mind that runs 150 miles an hour, I very much resonate with that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sophia Hardesty, Davina Cloney, thank you so much, ladies, for what you do in the world. Thank you for being here today to share it with everyone. You guys, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community who is ready to answer a question you might have from today, carry on the conversation. So I have these beautiful, amazing women, these authors hooked up down below in the show notes. Go click on the links, find out what they're all about, what they're up to in the world. And of course, we hope that you go grab your beautiful copy of We Lead. You can get over to Amazon and grab that over there. The link below to the book is there as well. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.
Thank you.